Hello everybody, I am Barb and I am from Martin Mandan Public Library and I have two very special guests with me today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then I'll tell you why they're so special.
Okay, I'm Vicki from Dakota Center for Independent Living, and we have a group of young people, young adults down to 14-year-old kids, and what we have is Youth Empowering Social Status. It's a group that is like a peer support group. We do a lot of educating and the community about people with disabilities. We have a peer-to-peer program that we do with the young people, and this is one of our young people, and I'll let her introduce herself.
I'm Elizabeth Romanek, and I am a board member for Yes, and I just let other people shine, and we have a lot of friends that are in this service that we can become a community and be impact on the world, that we can serve in other people, that we can be who we are.
Excellent. And Liz, I am so thrilled because I was Liz's 5th grade teacher, and it has been a long time. Without further ado, here is Liz reading
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Very good.
Twice the day before Christmas, all through the hills, the reindeer were playing, enjoying their spills. While so often they stopped to call names at one little reindeer not allowed in their games. Haha, look at Rudolph. His nose is sight. It's red as a beet, twice as big, twice as bright. While Rudolph just cried. What else could he do? He knew that the things were saying true, where most reindeers' noses are brownish and tiny. Poor Rudolph's red nose, very large and quite shiny. In the daylight, it sparkled. The picture shows that. At nighttime, it glowed like a eye of a cat. Although he was lonesome, he always good obeying his parents as a good reindeer should. That's why on this day Rudolph almost felt playful. He hoped that from Santa soon, driving his sleigh full of presents and candy and dollies and toys for good little animals and girls and boys. He's just as much, and this is what pleased him, as a happier, handsomer reindeer who teased him. So, as a night and a fog hid the world like a hood, he went to bed, hopeful. He knew he'd been good. A while way up north, on this same foggy night, old Santa was packing his sleigh for his flight. This fog, he called out, will be hard to get through. He shook around his head, and his tummy shook too. Without any stars or a moon as our compass, this extra dark night is quite likely to swamp us. To keep from smash up, we will have to fly slow. To see we're going, we will have to fly low. We'll steer by the street lamps in the houses tonight in order to finish before it gets light. It's just think how the boys and girls' hopes and will be shaken if they didn't reach them before they're awakened. Dasher, come Dancer, come Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on come Dancer and Blitzen. Be quick with your suppers, get your hitches in a hurry. You too, we will find a fog, delay, and worry. And Santa was right, and he was usually is. The fog was a trick, and the soda's right fizz. He tangled in the tree tops again, and again, and barely missed hitting a huge speeding plane. Just not getting lost ended all Santa's skill. With street signs and numbers are difficult still. He still made a good speed with much twisting and turning as long the street lamps and the house lights were burning. At each house, first checking that was what people might live there, he quickly picked out the right presents to give there. But lights will still be out after midnight, he said, for even the most presents have then gone to bed because it might them a match was denied him. Oh my, how he wished for just one star to guide him through the dark streets and houses. Oh, Santa poorly was now picked the presents more slowly and sturdily. He really was worried for what he'd do. How he picked out the presents slowly and sturdily do if he folks start waking before he was through. The night was still foggy and not all clear. When Santa arrived at home of the deer onto the roof with clouds all around it, he searched for it, the chimney, and finally found it. The room he came in was darker than ink. He went for a chair, but turned out a sink. The first reindeer bedroom was so black he tripped on the rug and burst his pack. So dark he had to move into the bed and very hard at the sleeping deer head before he could choose the right kind of toy and a doll for a girl who trained for a boy. But all his took time, but filled Santa with gloom. While feeling this way toward the next reindeer room, the door he just opened went to surprise. A soft, glowing red colored light met his eyes. A lamp wasn't burning, the light came instead from something they lay on the head of a bed, and there lay, but wait now. What could you suppose the glowing, you've guessed, Rudolph Red Nose. So this room was easy. This one light Santa picked and gifts were right. He was happy. He was till he went out of the door. The rest of the house was black as before. So black that was made every step in the mystery. And then came the greatest in all history. He went back to Rudolph and started to shake him, of course, very gently, in order to wake him. And Rudolph hardly believed his own eyes. You just can imagine his joy and surprise, and at seeing who stood there, a paw length away, and told of the darkness and the fog delay, and Santa's great worry, what that children might awaken before his complete Christmas trip had to be taken. And you, he told Rudolph, might save the day. Your bright shiny nose, sun can show us the way. I need you to follow to help me tonight, to lead all the deer on the rest of our flight. And Rudolph broke out into such a big grin and is almost connected his ears to chain. He scribbled a note to his folks in a hurry. "I have gone to help Santa," he wrote. "Don't worry," said Santa. "Met me and my sleigh too long. You will stick to the chimney and flash and gone." So Rudolph pranced out through the door, very gay, and took his proud place at the head of the sleigh. At the rest of the night, he will, what would you guess? Old Santa's idea was brilliant success, and brilliant was almost no word of the way that Rudolph directed the deer and the sleigh, and in spite of the fog, they flew quickly and low, and they made such a good use of a wonderful glow that shone out from Rudolph at each interaction that not even once did they lose their direction. At all of the houses and streets with a sign on them that sleigh flew real low so Rudolph could shine on them, to tell who lived there, and just to give them who they stopped by each window and peeked in the room. Old Santa knew always which children were good and minded their parents and ate as they should. So Santa would pick out the gift was right with Rudolph, close by making just enough light. It all went so fast before it was a day that every last present was given away. The very last stocking was filled to the top just as the sun prepping to pop. Sun woke the reindeer in the Rudolph hometown. They found that short message that written down, then gathered outside and waited his return. And we were surprised and excited to learn that Rudolph, the ugliest deer of them all, Rudolph Red-Nosed, bashful and small and funny-faced fellow they always called names, and particularly never allowed in their games, was now he invited by all for all the near for no greater honor and come to a deer than riding with Santa and guiding his sleigh, the number one job on the number one day. The same deer who used to do anything but tease him would now have done anything only to please him. They felt even sorrier they had been bad. When Santa said, "Rudolph, I never had a deer quite so brave or so brilliant as you, fretting back fog and at the steering me through by you last night journey was actually bossed without you. I'm certain we will all been lost. I hope you will continue to keep us from grief on a future dark trips as a commander-in-chief." While Rudolph was blushed from his head to his toes until all of his fur was red as his nose. The crowd clapped their paws and then started to search hooray for Rudolph, our Rudolph, and we want a speech, but Rudolph, still bashful, Despite being a hero, he was tired. His sleep on the trip total zero. So that's why his speech was quick, short, to not write Merry Christmas to all and have a good night. And that's why whenever it's foggy and gray, it's Rudolph the red-nosed who guides Santa's sleigh. Being listening this Christmas, but make a pep, 'cause that late night children will be asleep. The first should that you will hear on the roof, that's where the fog will Rudolph's small hoofs, and soon after that you're still as a mouse. You may hear a swish as it flies around the house and shines enough light to give Santa's a few of you in your room. And when they're all through, you may hear them all call as they drive out of sight. Merry Christmas to all and a good night. I'm Liz Romanic, and I'm one of the board members for Youth Empowering Social Status. I'll be in a lot of things, I just had to do my own thing, be me, and I'm just thankful for being Yes, that they help people who are heard to use their voices and be the advocate for those who need help. And they are just incredible service, I want to say, that they are easy for people with youth or youth adults to come in and be a voice and be heard, that they can join in our events. We're like a community of friends who do different education. Sometimes we do videos, we do conferences. We just do a lot of things together. It's fun. We also have a Yes board that we have a president, a vice president, or a secretary, and board members that we can come up with a lot of ideas or events that we can be together and have fun and just be who they are, that they can be one, and we can also other people, and I'm getting into logistics that they also do different educational stories. It would do a newsletter for Yes we're working on, that we can educate those people who need them to be educated and be more involved with the Yes. And they are just a great impact for the Yes. We just want to be there for them, that they need to be heard or be the advocate they need to be, that they can show that they can shine in their own world, and that they can just be themselves, and it doesn't matter who they are or how they look like. It doesn't matter, we just ask for anything, and if people speak different languages, we are a big help to help translate that. I don't know, I'm good at translating, because I have some friends too. I sometimes do what I do, and I just be me, and I just let other people use their voice. Sometimes I can take over, that I just let other people shine and let them be the advocates of what they need to be,